We're going to be talking about Staggered Development, what I think might be happening within Cloud Imperium games. We're going to talk about the facts of Staggered Development, but we're also going to be talking about, what else does this mean for the future of Star Citizen? And we're going to do it after these messages.
Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of the games who make continued content on the games possible. The games patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Steam gift cards, Star Citizen packages, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating just $1 if in any way you enjoyed the game's content. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to the Games. We were not happy with Pillar Talk, which is supposed to give us, exactly what's going on inside of Cloud Imperium. The representation was absolutely horrible. We were very upset with what we saw as backers of the game. And now we're going to talk about the information that was contained within that was very difficult to extract, because really, when they were talking, it was as if only noise was coming out of their mouth with nothing else behind it. It was very difficult to watch. It was just a really horrible nightmare experience watching this Pillar Talk. And we talked about that. You can check out the first video there in that card. But let's talk about Staggered Development now. They told us, hey, we're going to change the cycles, the way in which the teams are going to operate within Cloud Imperium games. And they put a nice post here on Spectrum. I will put the link down below where you can kind of get the gist of what it is that they're trying to present to us. They're doing it in a good way. They're saying, hey, this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing. And it might very well be a good thing. Montoya actually explains the crisis of what's happening with Staggered Development very succinctly by using pizza making as an example, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And he talks about how essentially if somebody misses the dough, then the people who put the sauce on or the cheese on or the pepperoni down the line have to wait for the guy who messed up on the dough. And this is exactly what Staggered Development is basically taking teams and making them more functional, because you're only paying for 2 people rather than 4 or 5 people just sitting there doing nothing. It's essentially what Staggered Development is a way to more efficiently manage the company so that you're not spending a shit ton while people sit on their hands waiting for the first person that fucked up. So Staggered Development is essentially taking teams and splitting them up differently. And so that you'll have teams that are dedicated towards 3.7, say the patch that's currently supposed to be produced and coming out very soon. It was supposed to come out end of Q3. And then you're going to have other teams that are devoted to 3.8. So while work on 3.7 is happening, there's also work on 3.8 happening. Now, I thought this was actually happening already. The fact that it kind of wasn't happening and everybody was working on 3.7 is a bad managerial decision. I'm glad that it's changed. I think that this is actually going to make things faster, but I question the motives behind the change. Now, Chris, to me, has always had an issue with listening to people. Now, I'm hoping that has changed, and the reason that why we're seeing the changes is because he's actually starting to open up and listening to the developers like John Crew. I'm sure John Crew, you could hear his frustration in the Pillar Talk about how the developers were having problems. So perhaps Chris was like, hey, I'm listening to developers. The developers are telling me there's a problem with this process, and I want to rectify it. Now, if that's the case, it sounds great, but there could also be more confusion because of this decision. But let's go and let's talk about something that I saw that was very interesting to me as well, because I like to go into the situation inside of Cloud Imperium. What is going on in terms of what it is that we're seeing versus what may be happening that's not being told to the average fan. That's why I'm here, and that's why you guys watch. I don't know if you guys know this guy, but this gentleman's name is Josh Herman. He's appeared on various Around the Verses. He's the character art director. And interestingly enough, he is no longer with Cloud Imperium as of August. Now, we know what happened in August, Staggered Development. We also know that a lot of employees seem to be having issues with how things are happening inside of Cloud Imperium. As you heard with John Crew in the Pillar Talk, you could hear his frustration on how things were being done. So it sounds to me like there might be some type of shakeup happening on the LinkedIn profile here from Cloud Imperium Games. Let's just zoom in on this so you guys can see a little bit easier here. You can see that there are 447 employees on LinkedIn. Now, I remember looking a few months back and seeing that this number was over 511. And it's interesting to me that now I see 447 employees on the LinkedIn and Cloud Imperium. So I'm definitely seeing a drop in numbers. Perhaps what we're seeing also is a small shakeup within Cloud Imperium Games as well. So it could very well be, now this is speculation obviously, but it could very well be that there's more than meets the eye to Staggered Development. It could be that there's some issues with some of the developers. They weren't happy, some have left. Perhaps there was some layoffs. It does look like they're still hiring. Like if you look at the Cloud Imperium site, they look like they still they have 80 open positions. I don't think it's down to like Chris and Cloud Imperium just kind of like culling the herd or cutting the fat off the bone. I think that they still want to go forward, but it seems to me like there might be some management issues going on here where people were upset within Cloud Imperium. Perhaps some people leaving in mass. Perhaps there is some cutting going on, but you know, the amount of positions that are open as well have increased. So, you know, I think that beyond just Staggered Development, I think the information that we got was twofold. I think that Staggered Development in itself is a good idea. I think that will help. I think changing kind of the gears at this point so that we have more stable patches is a good thing. We know, I've been talking about this for ages, that a more stable PU gives you better game experiences. The better game experiences mean more people will buy the ships. That means that there's going to be more revenue. That's their primary source of revenue, is ship sales. And that means that there's more chances that the game will become a reality because people are going to have a more stable PU experience without the bugs. And it's explained to us in the post that is linked below on Spectrum that Staggered Development is there to help give us more stable experiences is a good thing. But I kind of wish sometimes that they'd go a little bit deeper than that. That Chris would tell us the kind of the inner workings of what's going on rather than us kind of guessing as to if there are more motives behind why this Staggered Development change. So, you know, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit more information out there on what could be happening behind the scenes rather than just what it is that's being explained to us like we're some type of cattle. I want you guys to have a little bit more information on what's going on. Am I concerned? Slightly. I have to say that I'm a little bit concerned because of the production value of what I've seen lately from Cloud Imperium. I'm not happy with this Pillar Talk. I wasn't happy with 2 of the Inside Star Citizens most recently. It's back and forth with the Inside Star Citizens. I enjoy my time with you guys when we do our live shows and we watch it together. That's absolutely awesome. I have a great time. But yeah, I am a little bit concerned, so I'm going to be a little bit more of a watchdog and do a little bit more information on exactly what's happening inside Cloud Imperium or my best guess as to what I think is going on. I'm going to continue to look at the numbers. You know, we know that the $46 million came in at the end of December sometime in 2018, and we know that one of the reasons why that $46 million came in is because they were a little bit short on their free cash or cash in general as a company. So they obviously needed that money to be brought in to help. The general guideline, or what everybody says, is the line that the 46 million is there just for promotion, I think is a bunch of hogwash. I think it has more to do with the fact that they just need that money to operate as a company. Again, my opinion, that's based upon research that I have done. But it's interesting to me that we're seeing kind of this change right now as we're going to fourth quarter, and you know, we're going to get into the changes in the roadmap, and we're going to look at the roadmap to help us out in our next video. I think it's really important to kind of look at what the changes are going to be to kind of help postulate where we're going. And that is the third piece to this 3-part series that we're going to be getting into. Thanks for watching here as to what Staggered Development is. Perhaps there's more to it. Thank you for watching the video. And after I'm done here, you're going to see the link to the third part of this series where we talk about the roadmap changes. I hope you guys are enjoying the content here on the channel. Thanks very much to all of our patrons. We are having a giveaway, and I will see you on the next video.